All right. What is going on, YouTube? Just want to say thanks for all the new subscribers. 18 subscribers. I can't believe it. Let's get rocking and rolling. Let's see if we can get to 25. So we have a comment from Kmart Online. He asks, what type of training do each branches do, right? So I can only really speak on behalf of the Navy and what my training was like in the Navy. I'm going to kind of assume the different types of training that each branch will do. We'll start off with the Navy, and then we'll go Army, and then we'll go Marine Corps, and then we'll go Air Force, and then we'll go Coast Guard. So in the Navy, you go to boot camp in Chicago, right? Great Lakes. And you get there, you do the spiel, you get yelled at, yada, yada, yada. Then they start teaching you like attention and stuff like that. All this stuff you're going to learn already in MEPS or during DEP, I would say. And then you get your recruit handbook, and it's like a big book. I think I still have it actually. Yeah, you get your recruit handbook, it's a big book, and then you get your the Blue Jacket Manual, 25th edition. And in the basic training of the Navy, you learn the ranks, you learn the Marine Corps ranks, you learn your admirals, the lieutenants, like what they look like on their ranks and stuff like that. They teach you about the ships. They teach you about the ships. They tell you about the core values of the Navy and talk about, I would say, like Navy stuff, like, you know, tying knots, different types of wars, what's important, how to aim, deadly force triangle. Everything in the recruit handbook is everything you learn in Navy boot camp. Now, the difference between being a Seabee and doing Navy boot camp is you're all seamen. You're not a constructionman yet when you join the Navy before you go to A school. So you go to boot camp, you're a seaman, and then when you graduate boot camp, then you're a constructionman. It's weird like that. Although, in my opinion, I think that Seabees should be trained kind of like how the Marine Corps trains in some way, some nature. The only problem with that, in my opinion, is that we're not a forward moving force. Even though we can be, there's a lot of people out there that would say, Seabees, we can move forward and attack like how the Marine Corps does, but mainly the Seabees are a defensive type of unit. How we would do it is we would go in after the Marine Corps or while the Marine Corps is starting to do their stuff. So in Navy boot camp, you learn how to moorn the lines, you learn how to shoot the pistol. At the time when I went, it was the Beretta. They're starting to phase it out to the M18. In Navy boot camp, you learn about first aid. Let me see. You learn about the ships, missiles, submarines, aircrafts. There's actually a lot of information in here that is in the recruit handbook. You learn about like policies, like, being prejudiced and that type of like being politically correct, like type of stuff. Like it's just more of like just being respectful to each other kind of training. It's nothing like I've never dealt with any type of DEI training or anything like that in the Navy. Um, you learn about fire extinguishers, you learn about the different types of fires that you would use, fire extinguishers that you would use to put out fires. So with Army training is what I'm going to imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, any Army guys out there watching, the Army focuses on attacking and defense, and they focus on the rifle qual, where the Navy they don't focus on the rifle qual. The Army focuses on team building and unit kind of training, I'm assuming, and then they do like that wall, the I don't know what the heck it's called, but they go down the wall with the rope. They do something like that. They do like an obstacle course training. They do stuff like that. The Navy, we don't do that type of stuff. We kind of get set up for battle stations, and there's a legit like stage of a ship that is you go to a building and it looks like a huge ship, and they take you through this huge ship, and like they put you through a scenario, we're going this place, we're going to that place. Oh my God, we just got hit. Brace for impact. Like that's pretty much like what the Navy's training is. I'm assuming the Air Force's training, they just sit on chairs and they say, okay, do this and do that. And then the Marine Corps training, pretty much everybody knows what Marine Corps training is. Marine Corps training is hardcore. It's, they do the Crucible, they do MCMAP, they shoot their weapons and weapons qualifications. They focus on probably Marine Corps core values, same as the Navy's honor, courage, commitment. It's kind of what I'm going to imagine what the Seabee training should be. It should be somewhat mixed in between like Marine Corps and Navy. In my opinion, I think Seabees should get trained like that. So there is this class that all expeditionary people go to. So Seabees, we're expeditionary, and we go to this class called ECS. So after we're done learning our trade, so after we're done learning how to fix toilets, set up piping, electrical, set up lines, building masonry work, framing and stuff like that. After everybody's done with their A school, everybody goes down to Mississippi and they go to ECS, and we learn basic shooting, threat triangle. We learn how to fire weapons in a combat situation. We learn first aid. We learn land navigation. We learn how to set up a perimeter when we're getting attacked. We learn how bad it could be if somebody has a knife and they try to attack you with it. We learn like that distance for like a knife attack and see how close and how good somebody can get you. But with the Air Force and the Coast Guard, I'm not really 100% sure what their trainings are. I know that the Coast Guard, they call themselves the life-saving branch, where they go in the helicopter and they, save people's lives and stuff like that from the helicopter. But I'm just going to assume that the Coast Guard is kind of almost like the Navy's kind of training, but way more intense. If you were to scale the different levels of boot camps, I would say Marine Corps the hardest, Coast Guard second hardest, Army, Navy, Air Force. Yeah, I mean Air Force is always going to be the lowest. There's a reason why we nicknamed them the Chair Force. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you learned something, send me a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys had an incredible Thanksgiving, and I'll see you on the next one.